Hello friends, I am Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal, double gold medalist in political science, working as reader in political science. Today invites my beloved students appearing plus 2, plus 3, post graduation and other competitive examinations to a very nice video relating to the position of India in UN. It means whether India is with UNO, United Nations Organization, always, or India is not with the United Nations Organization. Because now also there are some nations in the world, those nations are not supporting UNO. So today's topic is India supports UNO's all missions, all programs, or India is not with United Nations Organization. So it is a very important video where my students will get some rare facts which will be useful for them. I think if my students will like this video, I request them to subscribe this video, by which students will be benefited. I am here only for the students. I have collected some information for the students. I think students will be benefited. So today's topic is India's position with UN. It means whether India supports UNO or India is not supporting UNO. But before we discuss what is India's position as regards its supports to UNO or it is not supporting to UNO, before we discuss, we must know first of all a few lines about the importance of the UNO. So what importance UNO has today? According to John F. Kennedy, popularly known as JFK, who was the 35th President of America from 1961 to 1963, and he was the youngest elected President of America. He became President at the age of 43. Once he said, human beings or mankind must try to put the war. Human beings must try to put an end to war. Otherwise, war will end human beings as well as their civilization. It means war is such a dangerous. It is so much anti-human that if it will not be controlled, it will smash entire human civilization. So war must be controlled. It must be restricted. And United Nations Organization today is the only organization which is entrusted with the work to control war, to restrict war, and to ensure peace in this world. It means so long as UNO is active, war will be restricted, war will be controlled. The moment UNO will not be found, it will become ineffective. Definitely there will be wars, and entire human beings on this world will be smashed. So UNO is very important for mankind. But India, knowing the importance of UNO, is always supports UNO and its missions and its purposes and its ambitions. It is evident from some facts that when UNO was established on 24th October 1945, at the time India was a member of UNO. Prior to the establishment of UNO, 24th October 1945, India also played a dynamic role in the formation of UNO. Because, no doubt, in August 1941, Atlantic Charter was signed between American President Roosevelt and British Prime Minister Churchill. And in order to execute Atlantic Charter, another conference was held in Washington known as UN Declaration. This conference was held on 1st January 1942, and to that conference India had sent a representative, Girija Shankar Bajpayee, to sign the UN Declaration. Again, when the final conference of the United Nations Organization was held on 25th April 1945, and it continued up to 26 June. It continued up to 26 June 1945. India had also sent a representative known as Sir Orkot Ramaswamy Mudaliar. Again, in 1948, when the Declaration of UNO on Human Rights was signed, India had also sent a representative known as Hans Mehta to participate in the conference, which was for human rights. Again, Sir Orkot Ramaswamy Mudaliar was the president of Social and Economic Council of UNO of 1946. Again, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit was the first women president of UN General Assembly in 1953. And India was also the members of United Nations Security Council for 7 times, because in the United Nations Security Council there are 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members, and the term of non-permanent member is 2 years. And India was the non-permanent members of United Nations Security Council for 7 times. It means India was a member of Security Council for 14 years. So, India was always with UNO from its very inception, from its very origination, from its very formation. Because India is a land of peace. India always trusts in world peace. India always hates wars and hatredness. So, as UNO is for world peace and it is a peaceful institution, it is for world tranquility, India always supports UNO in the past and now also India always with UNO. Always India supports plans, programs and missions of UNO because India knows it very well that UNO must be kept active. Otherwise, the entire world will be under terror. So always India supports UN. It would be evident from some facts. India provides troops to UNO in crises like Korea, Egypt, Angola, Somalia. When UNO wants to maintain peace in the world and it wants to form an UN truce to maintain peace, India always has provided troops to UNO's peacekeeping force. It has provided troops in the crisis of Korea, Egypt, Angola, Somalia, Rwanda and South Somalia crisis. Whenever UNO wants troops from India, India at that time provides troops to UNO for its peaceful mission. Again, India supports UNO in disarmament because in order to maintain peace in the world, arms should be restricted. Poisonous weapons should not be made. So UNO wants to control armed ammunitions. It restricts nations to manufacture poisonous weapons. India always supports UNO in its disarmament works. Number 3, it helps UNO in PWO, prisoner of war, POW, crisis of Korea 1953. When in 1953 there was Korean crisis, there was a war between South Korea and North Korea, and that at that time a problem came about POW, prisoner of war problem. At that time India had also played a very important role in the Korean crisis at the time of exchange of POW problem. Now 4, it helped UNO in Suez Canal crisis 1956. In 1956 there was a Suez Canal crisis and UNO tried to solve Suez Canal crisis in order to avoid war, and India has supported UNO in its move to solve Suez Canal crisis. Number 5, it pleaded interests of backward states of Asia, Africa and Latin America in UNO forums. In the world, no doubt, there are some developed nations and there are some developing as well as backward nations. India always pleads, argues in support of backward nations and developing nations in different forums of the world, in the different forums of the United Nations. India always wants for the development of backward nations and developing nations, so that there will be proportionate development of all nations. Number 6, it supports UNO in violation of human rights, ending terrorism and protection of global environment. UNO always fights for protection of human rights, to control terrorism and to protect global environment. India always supports UNO in good causes like to control terrorism, to preserve world environment and to protect human rights in different areas of the world, especially communist countries like China, North Korea, and in various countries where dictatorial rules are observed. It supports UNO in peaceful use of nuclear power. It is known to all that nuclear power has negative sides and has positive sides. If it will be used for weapons, it will be very hazardous. But if nuclear power will be used for peaceful purposes, definitely mankind, nations will get a lot of benefits. India always with UNO, India supports UNO in its mission to use nuclear power for peaceful purposes. Again, it helps UNO in eradication of global poverty. In the world today, there are some nations, mainly African nations, some nations in South Asia, and some nations in Latin America. People are not getting food. People in this country are under severe poverty. And UNO tries to eradicate poverty and it gives aids to different poor nations. India always supports UNO in its mission to eradicate poverty and malnutrition. It helps to endure world peace. UNO always tries from its very inception to maintain peace in the world. To maintain peace in the world is the primary object of the UNO. Because if in the world there will be peace, all nations will be secure. So the object of the UNO to maintain environment of peace in the world. And India always supports UNO. India always helps UNO to maintain world peace. Never India has left UNO alone in its mission. Again, it protests in UNO against discriminatory treaties like NPT and CTBT. In the world, sometimes discriminatory treaties are made which favor to powerful nations. India always protests against discriminatory treaties. In the world, there are some discriminatory treaties like NPT and CTBT. NPT means Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. CTBT means Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. These treaties are discriminatory in the sense that these treaties give favor to powerful nations. So, India always tries to raise its voice against these discriminatory treaties. It helps UNO to implement various beneficiary programs like spread of yoga for good of all. UNO declares 23rd June as Yoga Day. India knows it very well that there are some programs which are good for mankind. For example, yoga. Yoga is good for human health. If it will be practiced by all people of the world, definitely people will have good health and they will lead a sound life. Realizing the importance of yoga, India appealed to UNO to declare 23rd June as Yoga Day. And by the persuasion of India, UNO has declared 23rd June as the International Yoga Day. Again, India always believes in the principle of equality. It wants equality to prevail in the entire world, among human beings and among nations. Realizing this and to popularize the principle of equality in the world, India has now persuaded UNO to declare 14th April as the Equality Day, because on 14th April it was the birthday of B.R. Ambedkar, Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, and Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, who was always interested for equality. Never he liked inequality. So, in order to popularize the principle of equality, India has persuaded, India has appealed United Nations Organization to declare 14th April as the International Equality Day. So, India is always with UNO. From its very inception, 24th October 1945, when UNO was formed, India was always with UNO, and now it is also with UNO. Nobody can say that India has left UNO in any crisis. India has not supported UNO in its mission. From the very formation, from the very origination of UNO, India has supported UNO in every occasion. India is also contributing its fund to UNO because UNO wants money to function. India is always contributing its annual funds to UNO to make it exist. So, in this video, we have known, or we are clear that about India's position. India always supports, India always has supported UNO, its programs, its plans, and its mission, because it is known to India that so long as UNO will be present, India, including human civilization, all nations of the world are secure. The moment UNO will become inactive, the chances of war will be in the world, and the entire human beings will be wiped out, will be smashed. So far as India's position in UNO is concerned, India is always with UNO, and it will remain with UNO always. Okay, my beloved students, in this video you are clear, and many facts are known to you about Indian representatives at UNO and how India has supported UNO. Very rare facts are available to students through this video. I think this video is very helpful, or will be very helpful for students. Okay, my students, thank you to you all. Goodbye to you all. Smile please. Again we will be here in another video in future. Till now, goodbye to all. Thank you.